Clutchness, the ability to clutch. It is the dream. You're the only one left. You have to make a Herculean effort to win this round. 1v2s, 1v3s, 1v4s. A clutch round win is a statement, a motivator for your team and a demoralizing loss for the enemy team. It's one of the most impactful things you can do to make a difference in a game. Too bad they're hard as balls. The difficulty of doing so and the subsequent impact on the match is easy to see, but insanely hard to quantify. But what if we could take a look at the numbers and see which clutches were statistically the hardest, and which players are statistically the clutchest in the world? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Dome. My name is Dominic. I'm currently moving, so my mic is going to be terrible and no cam today, but I've been sitting on this topic for a while. I wanted to explore the quantitative and qualitative aspects of a clutch to better help digest one of the hypest aspects of the game. But before we go into that, I need to thank our sponsor, ExxonMobil. No, I'm just kidding. It's me again. It's still me. I spent hours thinking of scripting and editing these videos all on my own. As the summer's rolling around, I'd love to do more interesting content, but I need your help. So if you like the video and you want to see more stuff like this, just subscribe. Like, I hit 12K recently, and that's so sick, but still only 20% of you are actually subscribed. I understand that some people just follow their recommendations off of their YouTube algorithm, but if you check, some of you might not actually be subscribed, so I'd really appreciate it. So please, just do it. We are just coming off the back of the first international LAN of the year, Masters 1. Masters 1 was a great tournament. Not only did it bring hype matchups and good storylines like Zeta Division's run, Brazil's resurgence, and EU's collapse, but it brought some amazing gameplay to the table. This time around, it didn't feel like matches were a foregone conclusion. Zeta Division versus DRX would have been an overwhelming DRX win, which it was at one point, but Zeta Division played like champions. Same with Paper versus G2. It felt like teams from smaller regions found ways to show up like they previously haven't before. Japan and Brazil were two of the weakest regions in 2021, with only a handful of game wins, but since this tournament, placing second and third, they have doubled their wins. And of course, we cannot forget the Optic dub. Despite the highest level of play showing on the main stage, with the exception of the MEA due to their world situation, I completely understand, there were still some standout performances at the tournament. There were the usual suspects, Scream, Ye, Marv, Forsaken, and Jing, but there were some amazing showings on LAN, especially from Aspa, Mako, and Sugar Zero. They really turned it up. Sure, this is reflected in their ACS, KD, and CAS, but here's the thing, and this is gonna be rich coming from me, stats aren't everything. Sure, this says how well they did overall, but their impact and what they did in the game can be felt but not quantified. Having good stats contributes to a round win, but you can kill 4 people and still not win the round. There are different ways a player can impact a match too. A consistent player can impact an entire match, a hot player can impact a map, and a bold player can impact a single round. Some of the most impactful rounds are the ones where it looks like everything is lost, but by just being better, they can still win. The clutch. So where am I going with this? I took a look at Masters 1 and dove into the numbers to see which were the most impactful clutches of the tournament. The traditional stats try to quantify clutches with clutch opportunities, how many they got, how likely they were to win, but you can never really account for the lasting effect, the situational difficulty, and the momentum swing that comes with it. I tried to quantitatively and qualitatively break down the clutch, and the results, they're pretty damn cool. For me, I always try to rely on the numbers. It's the best way to one-to-one compare specific events in the game. However, since clutches are so varied in nature and situation, we need this additional contextual padding around the numbers to come to an actual conclusion about what is a good clutch. Let's start by understanding what is a clutch. It's about winning a round despite the mountains of pressures coming from an insanely unfavorable situation. We're talking 1vx situations, 2vx situations. Sometimes your teammates are alive, but you have to act while they're just flooding your site. You know it when you see it. But anyone can get a 2k or a 3k in a round, but it's the situational pressure that makes it so difficult and what also makes it so difficult to quantify. In trying to better understand what's going through the head of a player in this sort of situation, I spoke with some players to get their insight on the situation. The first question I wanted to ask was, what are some of the things going through your mind when a clutch opportunity first appears?
Basically, what would influence the decision is, okay, are you pressed for rounds? Are you on like an 11 or something? Or you only have a couple more rounds in the half? Do you have the econ to go for it and it doesn't even matter if you win or lose, right? I think we see a lot more clutch attempts than we ever should in Valorant. Nobody fucking saves. It's an issue, I think. Keeping 1 or 2 guns into the following round could be the difference between basically a full buy or like piecing together like hero rifle. So yeah, that one gun could be the difference in the next round. Then there's also the idea of playing exits, lurk up behind them and end up with 2 or 3 kills and make it impossible for them to buy in the next round, right? If you do decide to clutch, that kind of flies through your mind. That's got to be the first thing, right? It's like, do I even, like, is this worth?
Obviously, if you're like losing a match pretty bad or like you're down by a couple rounds, you just don't care anymore. So you're basically just like wide swinging everything, just kind of feeling yourself. But obviously, take as many 1v1s as you can in that clutch, and basically hurt their morale. Make sure you get some teabagging in too if you clutch. That's a big part.
There is a lot of thought as to when a player should try to win one of these unfavorable rounds. Saving is the smart option, but the clutch round win provides way more value than a regular round win, because not only does it make you 1 round closer to actually winning the map, but you mentally boom your opponent. No one wants to lose a round that they were so likely to win, but how much does it actually affect each team during and after the clutch?
It's huge for, especially if you don't have momentum. It could be a huge momentum shift for your team. And, like if you're already doing good, then it's just kind of like a nail in the coffin for like the other team where they're like, oh, we're already down. And they just hit a crazy clutch and they're like, I don't know what to do. If it's a close game, it can really shift the momentum of the entire game and get your team to like just win the whole map.
Well, I think our team has like pretty good energy and like mental in general. Like, don't get me wrong, I mean, we get mad too, but when we clutch, like, it is loud. Like, it is really loud, and like, we feed off that like crazy. We've lost a 1v5 back in the day, and well, it was a 5v1 actually, I guess. You lose a clutch like that, it's just whatever. Like, if you don't go nice, you're gonna lose the game. The biggest thing of clutching is how the other team feels. Playing a team that like has people that can tilt really easily, and you clutch like a 1v3 that you shouldn't have, you just know they're mad. They start doing stupid stuff because of that round.
Finally, what needs to happen for someone to win a round like that? Is it all on the perfect play of the individual, or is there an aspect of the enemy team doing something wrong?
I remember Nico in Counter-Strike. He was doing some content or some media day on. He was watching his own clutches, right? And obviously, it's this insane fragger. It's entertaining to watch him do world-class shit. And he's like, yeah, whatever, right? He had a quote in this film, and he said, I don't really get anything when I watch my own clutches. Like, I don't feel anything because I'm just watching my opponents make mistakes. Every clutch is just your opponents making a series of mistakes. Of course, like in a team environment, you're not going to say shit like that. You're not going to say, yo, how did they fuck that up? Or how did they lose that? You really want to hype up your teammate and be like, yo, you're insane. Every clutch that you're looking at is a series of mistakes, and even if the guy in the clutch played perfectly and he tried to isolate all his fights, like at the end of the day, the advantage team let that happen.
These are just a couple of the things that I learned while talking to these pro players about clutches and what they mean to them and the team when they happen. If you want to hear more clips like this from some of your favorite players, you can go follow my Twitter, where I have a long thread of additional tidbits that I collected throughout the various interviews. Also, you can go and follow me if you want to. That would be cool, I guess. Now that we have a better understanding of what exactly is at stake for both ends of the clutch, what's needed from the enemy team and what's needed from the clutch hero, let's try to actually use numbers now to compare specifics in the clutch. Now, I've already actually made a video investigating what exactly goes into a player's value, trying to create a stat that takes into account a player's overall performance instead of just their unweighted offensive output that's commonly seen with things like ACS, KD, all that. I still think the concepts presented in that video hold up, although a little dated. However, since then, more work has been done in terms of advanced Valorant statistics. Using algorithms and machine learning and other hot buzzwords, Run It Back has created a new statistical measurement called impact rating. By running a ton of matches into a machine, the algorithm can predict over the course of a round the weight of each kill on the probability of winning that round. Things like agent roles, remaining abilities, and positioning are all taken into account on how impactful a kill is. At the beginning of a round, the probability of winning the round is more or less 50-50, but there are some variability if one team is on an eco or it's biased by a certain side of the map. Shutting down a flanker is huge for the probability of winning, and once you've won the round, your probability is 1 because you won the round. Huge thanks to Ominous and the Run It Back team for giving me access to this data. This advanced metric has uncovered another aspect of the game. It was difficult to quantify the weight of each kill. Killing Uninitiating Skye is big, but killing Uninitiating Skye before she can use her util is huge because that means the team doesn't have the ability to get on site as easily. Same with killing a flanking Omen. It would make such a huge impact because if the Omen successfully flanks the team, he can potentially get 2 or 3 free kills. Now, of course, this stat line isn't perfect. No stat line is. It doesn't aggregate the best. Saying that Ye had a 3.07 impact rating over the map doesn't really mean much, and there are other outside factors that can affect the game that doesn't really get reflected in the stat line. Things like certain players just being absolute monsters, and some teams having preferred map picks. However, this is a perfect way to quantify a clutch. We can now, through statistics, see how likely it was a team to lose a round, and how did each kill contribute to winning that round in the end. We can see what was the greatest deficiency that was overcome by an individual player. Now, it'd be really cool if we could take a look at a very high level tournament with a lot of clutches to test this out with. A tournament that almost just happened, and that NA won. We asked viewers what were some of their favorite clutches from Masters 1 Reykjavik and put them through the algorithm to actually see dollars for donuts, the best clutches of Masters 1. And here's what we found.
Alright, we're match point. Team Liquid needs this round, and they can take OT.
A little bit of slack, having to play light shields as well, though. I think going to cancel that to avoid the drone. He tried.
Oh.
He messed up the TP as well.
Oh, he's so mad after that.
He is pissed.
Oh, that's
Match point, you do that?
12 to 11.
That is impressive.
Of course, where he moment to push. I don't even think there was any contact on the back of that. Those shots not landing for Scream.
He is dead.
On the back of the side. He's
Scream.
Oh my. Oh.
Killed by Delsa.
Wait, that guy TP'd up there and survived.
Navera does well
Wait a
though,
minute.
catching them on the cross.
10 seconds left.
Oh, he's running! No way, Navera! What is that play? Navera gets the ball! An
Holy
ace
fuck.
To guarantee overtime.
What?
Utterly
Alright, you run that back.
unbelievable.
Minus 15. Minus 15.
That was a good play. I mean, the time's so low, he's going to try to delay the bomb plant, and then his teammates can flood out, and then hopefully stop the bomb plant too, and then when they're out, I don't even think he was expecting to get 5 there. I think he was honestly just going for 1.
Navera goes through
Oh,
smoke.
he's running! No way, Navera! What
Oh
is
my
that play?
God.
Navera gets the ball! An ace
Goddamn.
to guarantee an overtime.
I wish I saw
I mean,
his
this
video.
is like, oh man, this is the I love watching shit like this because it's just like, it's match point. You're in a 3v5. Like that's the time to do the unexpected, bro.
The time was so
Yeah.
low, they had to knife out to get the bomb. And that's when he was like, oh, time is low, let me just fight them. Either I die or I just kill. And he just wins the round.
But it definitely, just watching it, it looked like a golden window scenario. Like, it's the best way I could describe it is everything was set up for the clutch, and all he had to do was run in and hit his shots. It wasn't really a clutch, but it was definitely nice, like, multi-kill.
This gives them a lot of control, and now they're set up. They're seeing the players on mid who are starting to creep up short. This is confirming for Optic that they're doing the right thing, playing towards A pretty heavy, but they actually go even heavier. Ye is rotated around to A heaven. 4 players here, and again, Tom Louder walking right into it.
This is hard read. Straight off the back of the null command. You can see the lockdown's gone down on the other side of the map, almost to try and like bake them into continuing this push. The fact is though, they've still managed to get that opener. The corner, it's going to be checked, and well, Victor's managing to get one. Ye is still here, Marved alongside him, combining, but he's now getting spammed out of that corner. Having to try and re-aggress and take control. Finesse uses that to make a play. The paranoia so perfect out from him.
Oh shit. I remember this one.
Oh, did he win this?
He did.
I don't remember this.
I like that ult by Marved.
Time is going to force them forward. The updraft's out of Ye. He comes up and over the site, clearing out everything. They know that he's on the back. Pancata trying to hold on. He'll get 1, 2, in fact. Pancata!
Oh.
God.
That was
That's
crisp.
Yeah, I remember actually watching that live, and I remember it now. Actually, I just remember the end of it. Dude, when you're in a clutch spot, you just like gain superpowers. I swear, like your aim just gets like 10 times better. Like they kind of threw. I don't know. They like all didn't run at him at the same time. I don't know where FNS was. Like look at the map, but
I would send Ye in first with the classic and then have the two rifles following up. It was a bit like one by one, but I think if you send Ye in as sort of like a distraction, even though he doesn't have a dash, and then have the two rifles going in from like either of the doorways following up, he'll be distracted on shooting Ye, which doesn't really matter too much, and then it gets traded by the other two. So I feel like that would have been like the perfect, like 100% win rate play for them to make.
I don't know, dude. It's like I almost feel better like these clutches. Like you feel so much more comfortable in a 1v3 than a 3v1, obviously, because like you can't like make a mistake. You know what I mean? Like no matter what you do, like 3v1, you're just like so nervous, man. You don't want to get clutched on when someone's in a good spot or your teammates are low health or shit like that.
Of the obviously 6 because they did use a res. Players that died were completely stunned up by fault lines from Benkai. They're already looking to try and get 4 players within this B side. Make it 5 in fact.
Orbital strikes used to slow them down, and RB's taken down in the meantime. Seeker's out for Devi, but he's got cover. Benkai coming in to save the day, and Devi's gonna dance around that smoke. He goes down, but he
No way
knows
Stacks
exactly
wins
where
this,
the
right?
that information's fed to his teammates,
There's
and
no way
ways
Stacks
can
wins
fall
this.
back.
How does he win
Has some
this?
Seekers of his own, but in a
Dude, look at their
1v4,
ults. Oh, wait.
Getting the plant down here would be ambitious and
This round is
difficult. I like the
impossible.
paper X
Okay, so
because
the
two
first thing that
teams
comes to
lost
mind is that he
next
uses
year.
every second of this clutch. He grabs a bomb and he just instantly goes like hookah. There's no hesitation in the play. He's just moving with every second.
Because I feel like it's going to be hard.
Like if you lose this round, that one
They
definitely
saw
hurts.
And
That's a 1v1.
And that's a really bad duel from Jing. Just straight up, just a terrible 1v1.
like it's like that guy just swung him for.
And there's another 1v1 that he could have won. And a 1v1.
Isolate these duels. The other player is coming in on the flank. If he can somehow find this frag, he's got an opportunity and actually moves into a safe spot to utilize the Seekers. He's going to get the wall bang. 4 down, and now he even knows where Forsaken is. Could just go for the plant. Bringing this back to try and ace it. Pop flash out to leave him blind. Leaves himself blind a little bit as well. Forsaken still just trying to sneak his way, trying to ruin the day of Stacks.
That's just a nice shot. That's just a nice shot. There's nothing else.
Yeah, he did honestly a sick job at just like isolating those 1v1s.
I think it's Jink's fault, dude. Like, I forget who said it, but it always starts with the first guy trolling. It's just a dominoes effect. Just everybody like joins. What was the score of that map after?
They lost.
I think it's
Paper
Jink's
Rex
fault.
lost that. They won map 1, 13-10. Cool. Oh,
Look at that, bro. Come on, bro. Like, yeah.
That's funny.
Wow.
Look, it's up 3-1. Oh my god,
Look
they
at the
win
red.
every other round. Like,
Yeah.
The Brim was 1 HP, so he was definitely like scared to peek, and that like sometimes that'll get your teammates killed. Like Razor like peeking is pretty troll because teammates low health on site. But yeah, I like this play by Stacks too, and this 1v1 like
And also,
trying to make Forsaken make the mistake.
These were the 3 biggest clutches from Masters 1 in order. And despite their varying levels of context and hindsight that we can watch these clips with now, I think the order still holds up. Nevera's clutch was estimated at 12.5% to be pulled off, and despite the time running low, Crew had control of the site. Their flaw was assuming that Nevera wouldn't repush the open smoke, which for sure was a bold move from Nevera. He was likely only looking for the bomb planter, but a 5k is a nice way to get momentum. Sure, this one isn't necessarily a clutch, but it's for sure a big momentum swing and would help them win OT in that map. The second biggest clutch was Pankata's clutch on Ascent. The probability of winning that was actually 1.4%. And while it didn't fully account for the ultimates and Ascent's B-side clutch efficiency, a 3v1 should be easy. But with a mix of Optic taking only once and Pankata going God mode, it just let Pankata pull out one of the hypest rounds of the tournament. Loud ended up winning that map 13-8 and won the whole series in 2-1 fashion. But the biggest clutch of the tournament by far was Stacks' clutch. A 1v5 on attacker's side with no bomb plant should be impossible, but the ice-cold Stacks and a flurry of mistakes from Paper Rex put him in the position for a small, minuscule chance of winning it, 1% to be exact. But he took every single opportunity that he got and he pulled it off. Paper Rex didn't win a single other round on defense the entire map, and this was their map pick. Paper Rex ended up losing the series 2-1. This is why this is the best clutch of the tournament. Both in the efforts made in the round and the lasting effects of the round influence the entire series for the way of DRX. Although clutches are just a small part of the game, they are a great reminder that even at the highest level of play, players are people. They aren't always going to play perfect. The invisible pressures of what's happening in the past or what could happen in the future do influence one's play. And that's awesome. Clutches are so hype because it no longer becomes about the game of Valorant, it becomes a battle of patience. Although every player wants to play like a robot, if every player did play like a robot, then there would be no esports. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching all the way through. This video took me so long to make, and I was coming off of writing exams, I had to move, and then I got sick, and then I started work, so hopefully, now that that's all settled, I'll be back to making a pretty regular content schedule. Huge thanks to all of the players that helped me out with this video. I've put in all their Twitters on screen, so if you liked what any of them were saying, please give them a follow. Again, huge thanks to Ominous and the Run It Back team for a lot of the data collected for this video. I tried something new, blending data with testimonials, so hopefully I can improve on that kind of style in the future. And as always, have a good day. I'll see you next time. Peace.